prioritize growth and learning over making a little bit more money, right? Now, there are times, look, when you've got to do it, you got to do what you got to do, right? But too often what I see is people continue to take parallel steps, not actually learning much more because they can go to the next company doing the same thing, making 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, whatever it is. Do not worry about the money as much as you can afford to. You will make more money later. That, my friends, I can guarantee you. What's going on, everyone? Thank you for joining again. Some of the new stuff that we're doing on YouTube, make sure if you haven't, like, subscribe, do all that other YouTube stuff. Because today I'm going to talk to you about the 5 things that I learned in my 20s or didn't learn that made me more successful as an entrepreneur and more successful in business in general. And I want to share all 5 of those things with you right now. Number 1, prioritize growth and learning over making a little bit more money, right? Now, there are times, look, when you've got to do it, you got to do what you got to do, right? But too often what I see is people continue to take parallel steps, not actually learning much more because they can go to the next company doing the same thing, making 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, whatever it is. The reality is you're not getting that compound interest. So for me, early in my career, look, I remember the first time I went into sales leadership. There's another sales leader at the time who was like not telling his people basically not to go into sales leadership because they're like, well, you'll make less money. And I'm like, dude, you are short-circuiting these people's career. I knew I'd take a $20,000 pay cut, right? As opposed to being a top rep or whatever it was. But too often what we end up doing is we spend too much time thinking about the next incremental pay bump and not enough time thinking about that next incremental learning bump. So that's number 1. Number 2, okay? Focus on getting experience doing the thing versus just learning about it in a classroom environment, okay? Meaning, too many people, I think they wait to do that next job. They think like, oh, I need to be promoted, etc. Chances are in your current job, if you're trying to get promoted to here or you want to do X, Y, Z, start doing that job today. Start doing parts of that, job that you want tomorrow. If you want to go into enterprise sales, start trying to work on some complex deals. If you want to go into being a VP, start talking to your VP about what you can do to augment what they're doing. So start getting real experience versus just focusing on learning 24/7, from a textbook or from just books. Number 3, again, is a combination of 1 and 2. Do not worry about the money as much as you can afford to. Okay? Do not worry about the money. It will come if you do number 1 and number 2. Number 3, which is you want to make more money, don't worry about it now. You will make more money later. That, my friends, I can guarantee you. Number 4, test a lot of things early. Meaning what I figured out very early in my career was I'd go in and I would rip off the best practices of all the top performing people. So I would go out there, I would say, oh, who's killing it here? Who's doing really well? And I just start repeating exactly what they were saying. Too many people, they go out and they just start to test without getting a baseline of all like the formulas that have already been laid. So my friends, what you should do instead is go out, get the best formulas from everybody, use those because you already see the results that they're going to go ahead and produce, and then start to test your own little smart little iterations on it, right? So that's all you got to do, right? So too many people, again, I think we think too much about starting from scratch and starting our tests from scratch. Forget that. I never start my tests from scratch. I go out and borrow best practices from internal people, etc. Test a lot, especially early on, to see what you see that actually works. What are the parts of the job? Many times what I see is people actually leave jobs or careers where it's maybe that there's parts of that job that they really like, but they kind of lumped all those activities together. So when you're testing both results and you're testing the things that you like, start to break down the role. What is it that I like about this? What is it that I don't like? That's going to help you to get you on your path a lot faster than others. Okay. And the very last, number 5, most important advice that I have for all my 20-year-olds out there, my 20-year-old self. I don't really remember how well I took this advice. I think it was like mediocre at best. Is what I would do is I would go deep every year on 1 to 2 things. So for example, when I was in leadership. I was one of the top sales leaders 2 years in a row at a company. I had 25 sales leaders. I was the number one in percent to quota both years. And I left leadership to go learn enterprise sales. I was 28, 29 at the time. And I thought to myself, I'm like, how can I possibly lead a group of men and women who are 45, 50, 60 years old if I haven't done enterprise sales? So that year, I went back in the field and I went deep. I became the youngest national account executive out of 75 people in that company. And I think, again, so it's like you're testing this other stuff, but man, I'm going to learn. Maybe you want to get down with paid advertising or Google Analytics. Take the time, because I think sometimes people test so much, then once they find something that works, they don't go deep on it. So make sure every year or quarter or whatever works for you, you're picking those one or two things to go deep on while you're testing other things as well too. So that's it. That's what I got for you. Number one, prioritize growth and learning over the dollars early on. 2, prioritize experience over just, learning from a textbook. Number 3, money will come. Repeat steps 1 and 2, then the money will come. You just have to be able to delay it just a little bit as you get that experience. Number 3, test a lot of different things. Get your baseline of best practices and then iterate. Don't start from scratch, but again, always be iterating, always be testing. And finally, and again, it might be a little counterintuitive to the first one, is if you want to be successful, you need to start to go deep in certain areas to make sure, 1, that you love doing it, right? And 2, so you can actually get good at it, right? Doing something for a month makes you very rarely very good. So instead, you need to be able to test what it feels like to go a little deeper. That, my friends, is my top 5 things. If you're 20, if you're early in your career, you're trying to think about what to do, follow that advice. Go ahead and follow the channel. Hit the little doorbell ring button to subscribe, and we will see you all on our next tips coming later this week.